realize that we didn't really explain what our general plans were for how to do these casting auditions. So if you are seeing this video and you have no clue what this is or what I'm talking about, check the description below, and that will have all your explanations. And if you are interested in applying/joining, just go ahead and DM me on Discord. All my stuff is open. Anyways, so for our auditions and casting, we will describe the character, number one, and we will kind of let you know a little bit of their plot. We want you to get to know them and understand them and who they are. And then we will show some voice lines on screen for you. You can choose, we prefer you to do at least 2 of these voice lines. The characters have 3 or 4, so you have a bit of wiggle room to choose what you want to do. If you want to do all of them, that's great. We really appreciate that, but we did want to make sure that you guys had choices between what lines you felt comfortable with and what lines you didn't. So, don't feel afraid to kind of do one but not the other. Once we do cast everyone, we will be posting the cast list in the announcement section. We will post it publicly. We do not know how long it will take to form our cast list due to, not only are we doing these types of auditions, but we are doing the casual kind of game night audition where we judge your casual voice and place where we think you'll go. Either way works for us. We may, before we release the official cast list, if you went the game night, kind of we judge your casual voice route, we may ask you to read a couple lines just to make sure that we believe you can act out this character, but that would be a private session. And that would basically be a, hey, we think you'll be great for this role. Here you go. For submitting your casting roles, if you read your lines off of this video and decide to submit it, you can submit that either in the Discord publicly, or you can DM it to me or John. And we will be handling the casting from there. So don't worry, don't panic. You got this, and we will do whatever is most comfortable for you and what best fits your schedule. And we are very excited to finally be casting these characters. Okay.
So, Amelia, she big stupid sometimes. That's all I'm about to say.
I love how we both have the same idea of how to introduce her.
She's got heart. All right. So she's compassionate and observant towards other people, but she's also very
naive.
Yeah.
Really,
and that might be because of her sheltered life for more than a few years.
I have a headcanon. I don't know if I've ever told you this, so I don't know whether to say or not that it's canon, but I have a headcanon that for like the first 13 years of her life, she didn't even touch grass. Like, legitimately. So the saying, just go...
What's grass?
But yeah, so she's very sheltered. And her mom's dead. I mean, I think that says...
Crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? Everyone's parents are dead. She's very... I forgot what I was gonna say. She's very childish in the notion that if she sees something that sparkles, she's going to touch it. We have a running joke in the voice lines about her glitter.
She's very much a child, even though she technically isn't a child.
Yeah, no, she's 1920. She's a legal adult, so just wanted to clarify that.
So basically, we did that because she has not been able to touch grass for a very long time. So she doesn't know how to interact with people. Basically,
she really doesn't. So. She's very socially kind of disconnected. And I could go into all the details about social interaction from a very young age, but I don't think you want to sit here for a 3-hour lecture. So moving on. By the way, did we clarify that Amelia is an angel?
We did not. She's an angel.
How do I say this without revealing that I love him?
Without
my undying love for Travis.
Yeah. Basically, he's a love interest. And a love interest first, character second.
No, so Travis is a side character for season 1. And I don't think he actually comes in until the revolution really comes in. We may have him have a cameo in the background once or twice, but other than that, he's not going to come in until later in the season. However, once we get into like season 2, 3, and all that good stuff, he does become a little bit bigger of a side character. So while Travis isn't going to have a super big role, he is not a main character in any way. He will eventually grow to have a little bit of a bigger role, but he's still going to stay the side character kind of route. He is a love interest. We kind of pick that up in season 2 and 3, so he does stick around for that. But for the most part, he's very kind. He's in the military. He joins the revolution because, Marion is his home. He is a jester. Travis, he does not have, he can use very low-level magic, but it's to the point where it's really pointless for him to do so he does not. He grew up rather poor. There's really nothing to him other than he is a side character, a friend, a supporting character, and he eventually grows to be a little bit more of a side character, but he's not a main character. Very kind, very hardworking. He just kind of sticks to the background. He's very used to that, sticking to the background. He's kind of like Matthew in that respect. I want to have a little bonding episode with them in the future, but that's Travis. I love him very much. Anyways, Bryce. This is our main villain for the series. Or not for the series. For season 1. Yeah. For season 1. Oh my god, I was so confident with it and just for the series.
I was like, actually, it's not the whole series, it's just the first season. Anyway. So he's the current king of Anatheus. He is an angel, just like Amelia. It's crazy. Almost like he's her father or something.
I know, right? It's so weird. He is a very absentee person. He's very stoic in the kind of way that, specifically with Amelia, he doesn't really connect with Amelia like a father-daughter relationship. It's a very, very disconnected there. But he does care for her. I mean, she's someone that's been around in his life for, how old is she again? 19, 20 years, so, you kind of don't want them to, die. But at the same time, I think a lot of the disconnect there lies with the fact that they're two opposite personalities. Bryce is like a peace and calm character. Amelia is sporadic and yelly all the time. So there's that.
Yeah. He's also, if you didn't pick this up, sort of the reason that Amelia's been shut out her whole life. Because he kind of didn't want her to go out and touch grass for reasons.
He's a very control and contain type person. He feels very discombobulated if he doesn't have enough control and reason in his power. I mean, he grew up in royal life. He grew up always having this control and status over everyone. So with Amelia, who you can't really control all the time, kind of really freaked him out, I guess. So a lot of his parenting was just containing Amelia in areas where she wouldn't get into things, where she wouldn't mess things up and screw things up. And, you know, when you don't get the chance to screw things up as a kid, it means you screw things up pretty badly as an adult.
He also doesn't want her to take the throne.
No.
So he wants to
thinks
kind of
she's too
preserve
stupid for
his
that.
spot for as long as possible.
He also kind of has, like, this superiority complex, except he's a little more quiet about it than I think Nathan is.
We'll get to Nathan.
We'll get to Nathan. But he's very just kind of, like, he just kind of wants to control everything. I mean, I feel like everyone else's kingdoms kind of have, like, a lot of flaws with them, which every kingdom does, even Anatheus does. But I think he sees it as, my kingdom's great, their kingdoms suck. If they did it my way, it would be fine. And oh, looky-doo here, there's an opportunity for that? Yeah, let me just take over the world real quick.
I see. He can be a little menace at times, but listen, he's not entirely heartless.
He's not entirely heartless. He does try to stop his daughter from joining the revolution.
Yeah, against him.
Yeah, I know, right? He's kind of like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that because I'd kind of have to kill you. And I mean, he's like, I can't die. And he's like,
I have plot armor.
I have plot armor. I can't die. Next thing you know, she gets stabbed. Anyways.
Yeah, okay.
So
that's Bryce
yeah,
in a bit of a nutshell. You know how he is.
Matthew, he's 28 years old. We did not have a little disagreement about that. What are you talking about?
This is all scripted. If you couldn't tell.
This is all scripted.
Yeah, those words were put in the script right now. I'm typing it as we speak.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are you really typing these as we speak?
Yes, I am a very fast typer. No.
Anyways.
So, yeah. So he's our first dragon of the group. Crazy.
I know. I kind of forgot that he was a dragon. He doesn't look it. He actually looks really human, but don't worry.
Yeah, he's not a creature.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Anyways, he is a very sit in the background kind of character, kind of like how Travis is, except this time he's a main character. He's very quiet. He doesn't really speak unless he feels like it's necessary, or he's spoken to, obviously. He's very level-headed, and he's learned to be the most patient. Like, as the oldest, he's just kind of learned from a very young age to be the most patient out of everyone, and to be very level-headed, because, man, are some people all over the place. So I think a lot of it is more of just him being extremely observant and paying attention, and not really speaking unless he really needed to really think over what he's doing and his actions, which I think is a really good trait of his. I think that's very important.
Yeah. We also need to address that, if you couldn't tell, he is the ruler of his kingdom.
Oh, yeah, he's also a king. He's a very humble king, though.
Yeah, he got sort of crowned at a very young age for reasons.
8 years old.
Which sounds far-fetched, and yes, it is. But there are reasons, and that affects him a lot. Sort of why he is the way he is right now.
Yeah, that's why he's learned to be so in the background, watch what he does. Don't make a move unless he needs to, kind of thing.
Yeah, because why mess something up when there's no reason to do anything?
I know, right?
Through his years of not making the best decisions as a king 8-year-old.
And the public kind of not liking him for most of his life.
For being a child.
I know,
while
right?
he's ruling. It's sort of like you can't have a child be a ruler, but we didn't tell them that.
I feel like it would be more. I feel like it's definitely a bloodline thing in Benevolent.
It was, yeah. It wasn't just they randomly crowned him.
The bloodline kind of died off. Heads up, a lot of the bloodlines in the royal families are dead. That's a common theme here.
Death. Crazy. But yeah.
And honestly, he doesn't really have a lot of plot in season 1. He kind of gets more plot as things pick up in 2, 3, and 4. So
Yeah, we don't like focus on him specifically all that much at the beginning, which is fine because if we put focused on like everyone, it kind of just be like kind of overwhelming. But he is there and he is important. But in terms of right now, he doesn't do all that much on his own.
A lot.
But we do address some issues, though.
Yeah, a lot of season 1 is mostly about Amelia and getting her in the revolution and getting your ideas and world building down. And then what we move on to in season 2 is like plot, drama. We're working on character arcs with Elijah and Nathan at that point. And then in season 3, we move on to specific character arcs with Matthew and Adira. And did I hit everyone? Season 4 is just kind of like we work on everyone little bits at a time. But at that point, you have the wiggle room too. You have the wiggle room too. Adira.
Oh, okay. All right. She is a jester, by the way, and the queen of her kingdom.
Yeah.
Getting that out of the way.
Yeah, she's the Queen of Marion. I have to say, she's one of my favorites.
She's been slowly growing on me over time. Like, at the beginning, I felt like, I don't really know what I would do with her. But, like, as we've gone to developing, like, episodes, it's been really fun working with Adira's character. So.
Oh, yeah. Copy link. Sorry, give me a minute. Paste.
Alright, I'll count down from 60.
Okay, there we go. I think Adira is one of the first characters other than Amelia that I immediately latched onto and developed a lot. She's changed a lot through design too, but we're not going to talk about that. She's a very headstrong character. She's stubborn, but she's assertive and she's kind, and she's very hardworking as well. She does a lot of hands-on work with her kingdom, so instead of kind of like ruling from behind a desk, she's very out there and very working with her people. She definitely likes to train in like with her military, with her soldiers and stuff. She's very into like war strategy. I feel like she's one of like the ones that kind of knows what she's doing with that.
Yeah.
She's sporty and athletic, basically.
Did you say she's 40 and athletic?
I said sporty.
Sporty, okay. Like, what is sporty?
She's 24.
Like, what are you talking about?
She's also, because she's royalty, she's a very powerful magic user. She has the royal wand and all of that good stuff.
Yes.
But
she doesn't use it for reasons.
She does not use it. She doesn't like to use it in particular. She very much avoids it and practically ignores its existence. So sometimes we forget that she even has magic to begin with.
Yeah, but she doesn't use it regardless. Like, there is reasons behind it that go into her backstory, but there's also reasons with her like ideology. Like, we shouldn't be relying on magic as much as we do, because like there are people in Marion that just like, no, let's use it all the time. We have it. It's a resource. Grr. And it's like that's a genuine point.
Especially,
so we do get into that with her kingdom, because it is like an important debate within like the entirety of that kingdom. Like, how much do we use magic? Do we restrict it? What on earth is going on? And Adira's stance to that is like, well, we need to be able to fight without it, like at all. So I'm going to train you to do that.
And I feel like it's important to note with her character that a lot of Marion's justifications for the royal family is the fact that they are probably the most powerful magic users in the kingdom. So for her to not use any magic pretty much is like a real big deal in her kingdom. It's not that she's magicless, she just doesn't use it. So
yeah. it causes like a discourse. Like people are like, "Why don't you use it?" And like I feel like others would like, some people are inspired by it. Other people are like, "You fool." Really, just depends.
But yeah, so I really love her character. I really do. Are we ready to move on to Elijah?
I'm trying to think of anything else with Adira that we didn't exactly address. But I mean, we talked about how she's like stubborn, but she's also nice, and she's like really assertive. That's the first thing you said. So,
she's also very confident. I do think we should put that in. She's very, very confident in what she does, regardless of like the backlash she kind of gets. And it makes her really charming, I think, in that sort of sense, is that she's very confident in what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah?
Yep, sure.
So, Elijah, I like to compare to Amelia, mainly because they have very similar bubbly and optimistic personalities. Elijah definitely knows what he's doing way more than Amelia.
He isn't as dense as she is.
but he's very, very kind, and he's also another humble ruler, I feel. He was supposed to be the sole ruler. He kind of gave up like part of his throne and his like heir. He gave up part of his throne and like inheritance to Nathan to rule side by side as brothers, and he didn't have to do that, but he did because that's his brother. Nathan, of course, acts like he doesn't care, but he did it not because Nathan was like nice to him, but because he believed Nathan deserved it. I feel like he is a character that he's a very sensitive character. Like, Amelia tends to, like, roll things off, and once things hit the fan, she's sensitive. I feel like Elijah is consistently sensitive with everything. He's very... What? What are you laughing at?
I'm just like, he's very, I don't know.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh my god, I literally just remembered it, and then I forgot again. He's a people pleaser and all that good stuff.
Okay.
I think he's level-headed like Matthew, not as much. I feel like Matthew's the most patient out of everyone. But he's charming like Adira, and he's overly friendly like Amelia. He's kind of like a little bit of everyone mixed and matched. But
he is unique in his own ways, though.
He does have the tendency to try to take care of everyone, and that does kind of fall back on him. He will prioritize friends and family over his own kingdom and ensuring the safety of his people sometimes. And he doesn't do it because, like, oh, I don't like my people. He does it because he feels like just this connection with other people, but sometimes there's that disconnect between actually ruling his kingdom. And
basically, he does what he thinks he should do in that moment, and usually that involves not protecting his kingdom, per se, and following, like, whatever else he thinks is important in that moment.
Like, for example, if, like... Okay, hold on. How do I... I'm just gonna use Season 1's plot. Screw this.
Yeah.
So, part of his plot is that, sorry, I literally forgot what I was gonna say again.
Okay. So, eventually, they get to a point where all of the rulers, like, meet up for a very, like, important reason, like, they need to protect someone. And Elijah's like, okay, I'm doing that. But Nathan's like, hey, you know we have a kingdom to protect, right? You can't just up and leave. Meanwhile, Elijah already walked out the door. It's like,
pretty much.
He's not, like, trying to disregard his kingdom, but if he feels like there's a more important thing he should be doing, he just does that with little to no hesitation.
When Amelia needs people to like be there to physically protect her, Nathan's idea is, well, give her a couple of guards and just kind of let her go. And Elijah's idea is to physically be there to protect her if she needs to. And so it's that disconnect of, he has a kingdom to rule, and he should be going home. Like, technically. Like, okay, let me reword that. As a king,
okay.
He should be going home. As a friend, he should be staying and giving Amelia the support.
Yeah.
And it's that big bridge and gap that it's really hard to make as a political figure. And it's that opposite with him. So it's not necessarily that he's kind of leaving his kingdom to die. It's just necessarily that I think he thinks more as a friend than a king.
Yeah.
Yeah, put that in. Editing me. Put that in. Cut out all the stuff about him, like, leaving his people for dead. Because that makes him sound like a horrible person.
That gets into, like, the duality with his character, you know?
It does.
So it's it's still an important aspect. Obviously, he doesn't think about the fact that he would... Yeah. Basically, you can either look at him the way Nathan looks at him, or look at him the way Amelia looks at him.
So there is something that I don't want to go into a lot of detail on here, but there is something that I do want to clarify with his character, is that as we move into season 2, he does technically become a villain, and he does kind of turn from this very happy character to a more bitter kind of person.
I would say, like, broken. Kind of like
more broken than
losing his mind.
Yeah.
Quite literally. Anyway.
And so once we cast who we feel best fits Elijah, we will go more into detail with them specifically about what Elijah's character turns into. We will go into detail with everyone about all of the story stuff. But for now, we do want to just clarify that he does turn into a villain later on. And so if that is something that you do not feel comfortable, or you don't feel like you have the skills for that to portray, just let us know. Elijah just might not be the character for you, but if you do want to, do some villain impressions or whatever, I would love to hear them.
You fools! I will kill you all!
Okay. Do you feel like we're ready to move on to Nathan?
Yeah, and honestly, we could have done them, like, both as, like, together, because they really are just with each other. But yeah, Nathan time.
So Nathan is probably the most villain-like character that is not a villain. I would say he's more of an anti-hero.
Yeah, anti-hero, definitely.
Than necessarily a villain. But he acts like a villain, definitely.
He wishes he was.
He wishes. When Elijah comes back and, like, is the villain, he wishes.
But yeah. Also, we didn't address this. Elijah and Nathan are both demons, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We probably should have talked about that, yeah. Elijah has a lot of demon traits. I might actually
like physically
include black hands in there. Anyways, you didn't just hear me coming up with character design ideas. And Nathan has no demon features. This is partly because Nathan was originally so part of Nathan, he's a very bitter and miserable character, and that, I believe, actually describes him. He kind of has a lot of just anger inside. He was never originally supposed to get, he was originally supposed to get the throne. He was supposed to be an only child. And he was the heir for the first, 8, 9, 10 years of his life, I would say. And it turns out his father had sired an heir not long, but, a little bit No. Oh my god, what am I saying? Someone
I
needs to
don't know.
stop me when I say this stuff. His
All
father...
right.
His father...
Basically, things happened a bit ago that Nathan had no idea about. So Elijah's suddenly in his life. He's
Give me a
like,
minute.
yo, what's up, step bro?
Okay, so basically, around the same time that Nathan was born, Elijah was born, and Elijah is the biological son of the king of Slethian. So what ended up happening was they were like, well, Elijah was born a couple days before Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, he gets the throne. And Elijah's dad, or not, their dad was basically like, yeah, no, I like this one better anyways. So once they figured out, oh, Elijah's, the king's son, they kind of brought him in, and they didn't, like, physically kick Nathan out, but, like, emotionally, yeah.
he definitely felt like he just got kicked to the curb in terms of his whole life. He's like, so it was all nothing then. It was all meaningless.
So he went from being like the golden child, the favorite child, to having absolutely no connection or relationship to his father. His mother is long dead. No one really pays attention to him because he's not the heir anymore. So he has a lot of this resentment and anger towards Elijah. So he's really, really angry with Elijah all the time. I mean, I think at this point he's like very tolerant of Elijah. But there's just so much resentment there, and it just comes out at everyone, I think.
Yeah, it's like basically whenever he notices that someone does something wrong, he will like not hold back.
Point it out. Especially if it's Elijah, he will specifically point it out and make sure that everyone knows, hey, Elijah screwed up. And this is definitely where Elijah's disconnect with being a king comes in, is that Nathan over here, the only thing he wanted was to be the heir again, was to be loved and appreciated again. So when Elijah over here isn't taking this seriously and putting the kingdom's needs first and foremost, he gets really upset, because I feel like he sees it as Elijah being ungrateful for what he's gotten so far.
Yeah. Because like Nathan takes his job as a ruler very seriously. Like that's an aspect of his character that like obviously the other characters care that they rule, but like that's Nathan's like drive and focus. Like if he doesn't have that, then what does he have, right? He
doesn't. So that's what has been the focus of his life. All of it.
So he is very serious when it comes to that. Which is a positive aspect of his character, because he does actually care. Like, they all care about the kingdom, but, like, he will prioritize saving his kingdom over a variety of things.
Which is especially where a lot of the arguing and resentment come from both sides of the brothers. And I really love their dynamic, because Elijah also resents him, but also feels extremely guilty for resenting him, and for Nathan resenting Elijah, and it's this whole thing. So... I really love their interesting dynamic, and I really love how blunt Nathan is, and how kind of rude he is without really being rude at the same time. Like, sometimes he's definitely rude and out there, but other times he's just kind of saying the truth very bluntly, and it just kind of gets on everyone's nerves, and I love it when that happens.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, green isn't your color, right, Adira?
Like, I feel like he'd also just walk up to Amelia and be like, you do realize that, like, this is for the adults, right? Like, you do understand that 5-year-olds can't be here.
Okay. He's just a bully now.
I mean, but, like...
Oh, you want to go cry to your mommy? Oh, wait.
He would say that, though! Like, if you pissed him off, he would say that. Oh, he'd be like, oh, you gonna go cry to your mom? Oh, wait, your mom's dead. Get with the program, Buckaroo.
I forgot.
Everyone has mommy issues here.
Oh, gosh. But yeah, he's very like that. Just, more serious than what I said.
very brutal, and I love the fact that he's just so brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I love all of these characters so much.
Yeah, I hope you guys grow to like them as much as we do, because we've been tweaking with them and making them for a while.
Oh my god, it's been 4 years now.
Holy crap. Well, I have not known you for 4 years. Yeah, I'm like, I have not known you for 4 years, I'm going to be honest.
No, it's coming up on 4 years because of September.
Okay.
I met, I believe it was September 13th. How do I know
remember
this?
it like it was yesterday.
How do I know the specific date? Because my my partner that year broke up with me on that specific day, the same day that I met everyone. So I remember the date because I was like, I hate myself. Time to go meet some new friends. It was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, we're coming up on 4 years, and then it probably would have been October when we created these characters. Yeah, so it's been a lot of tweaking around, but I do think like the dynamic between Elijah and Nathan has like been one of like I think the first ones we like fully like tried to flesh out, just because I think we both loved it so much. Their dynamic, yeah. Yeah. Their original dynamic was a joke about them being brothers and not lovers. Like, it was this whole thing of a joke where everyone thought that they were, like, gay men, but they weren't. They were brothers. It's not that anymore, but it's still funny to think about. I think I still have the drawing where Nathan is holding up a sign that goes, "We're brothers, not lovers," and Eliza's just there, just, like, waving to everyone, and Nathan just has this, like, dead, like, face on, just like, wow, I hate my life. I have to hold up this sign.
But yeah.
PowerPoint night was basically we all made a PowerPoint and then we shared it with the class, with each other, which was a regular tree. And we don't talk about what I did for a PowerPoint. I'm pretty sure a lot of them were about harems. Anyways,
yeah.
On to the actual character thing. Let me click record here.
I thought you were recording.
Oh, am I?
No, that would have been funny. That's just the first thing we talk about.
Just PowerPoint night. Okay. So, do we want to go just in order of the list, because it's easy?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alright. Our little dunce. I love how that's how I introduce her. Anyways.
Yeah.
We do not know how to do this.
No, it's great. Okay. So, Amelia, she big stupid sometimes. That's all I'm about to say.
Him?
Yeah, that guy.
Isn't he the oldest other than Bryce? Like, I think you had him at, like, 30 years old. Like, early 30s. Not, like, super old, but, like, 30.
Yo,
early
30?
I thought we had him at early 30s.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember that.
Hold on, no, hold on, let me look at this. I know that somewhere we put this man in his early 30s.
It's not to be like late 20s or something.
I mean, we can put him at late 20s, but I swear to God.
I just don't want them to be too far apart in terms of ages. Like obviously you're not gonna be the same age, but like not that far.
28.
I don't know.
28.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, Matthew.